What's up, you filthy fight fans? Welcome back to the show. I'm back at it again. Another fight talk, talking about the last fight card that just dropped, and that was Kevin Holland versus Derek Brunson. Now, the fight card came off pretty decent, pretty nice, good knockouts, a lot of TKOs, some amazing fights on the card. And then we get to the main event fight, and yeah, we'll get to that, man. It's, yeah. Anyways, let's jump into it. Let's get to this breakdown. Now, guys, I got to talk to you guys about Tai Tuavasa. He's looking like a beast, coming in, just basically taking care of business with Honeysucker and just knocking his ass out, knocking him off and putting him out completely and coming right back into another fight win, giving him a 3-fight win streak right now that he's on, and he's just coasting in, hoping to get somebody in the top 15. Now, I have to give it up to Tai. He's looking like a really good heavyweight, really good potential coming up into this. He's bouncing back. He's getting some training at AKA. He just spent his last fight camp with Gokansaki over in Abu Dhabi, and we'll see how it goes right now. Hopefully, they can get him lined up with another fight card. He seems like he really wants to fight, and he wants to keep it going. I think him staying busy is a really good thing for him, and he'll be able to get into that top 10 really quickly. Now, with that being said, I can't go without talking about Grant Dawson. His move up to lightweight looks phenomenal. Came in there like a beast. Can't say that he wasn't getting his ass handed to him for a little bit, but he was showing that he does have some skill. Now, let's see how he does in the lightweight division. Able to take out with a knockout right at the end. I'm talking at the end. 4 minutes and 59 seconds of the third round. Ground and pound knockout, looks great, looks phenomenal. Let's see how he can hang in the lightweight division. I hope that they ease him a little bit through the lightweight division. It is a stacked division. It's going to be hard to get up into that cream of the crop, but he looks like he has the skills, and he does have the actual fight team that will get him there. Now, with that, the only other thing I have to talk to you guys about is I know we didn't get the fight. We didn't get the co-main event that we were all wanting to get. It was a really phenomenal co-main event, which was supposed to be Gregor Gillespie versus Brad Randell. Now, ended up that I think Randell's team, one of his team members, ended up getting COVID. Don't worry, guys. They're going to push the fight back a little bit, and then they'll be on, I think, in the next 2 or 3 fight cards. But we did get a phenomenal co-main event against Song and Max Payne Griffin. And Max Payne Griffin coming in there like no other, bringing those hard shots, those hard bombs, just basically put into the pace. Now, Song seemed like he couldn't even hang with them. Took a shot off like a straight right in the middle of the round, and literally caught him off guard and was able to put him out with a freaking hook. Payne is a phenom. It looks like he's going to be doing great at light heavyweight. Can't wait to see who they match him up with next, see what's going to be going on with him. Now, guys, this next fight, the main event fight, Kevin Holland versus Derek Brunson, did not go the way I thought it was going to go. Seemed that, I just don't know, Kevin just seemed kind of off. Not giving him any excuses, and I get it. Yeah, I see everybody talking about his big mouth attitude, talking mess throughout the whole thing, talking mess from bell to bell, talking to Khabib outside the cage. It seems like he's not focused. It seemed like he was just having a mental break, but we can't put that all about this fight where we have to be talking about Derek Brunson. Derek Brunson looks like he's actually grown in the UFC. He's been able to literally push all the shit talking and everything out of his mind, and was able just to sit down and grind out through the fight. Now, the one problem I have with this whole fight, of course, was Kevin doing his usual talking and everything. I love it. That's the way he sells the fight. That's the way he does his fight. He's very entertaining. But they're, like everybody else has been saying, I have to say it the same way. If you're not going to be focused and you're not going to push to try to win the fight, then I can't really ride with you with doing the shit talking and all that, because it just doesn't seem right. You talk shit when you're able to defend yourself and able to actually win the fight. When you're sitting on your back in a closed guard, basically locking up in a body lock where you're not able to get out of position, you're not able to do any kind of transition to get to mount or get your ass off the floor. Dude, the shit talking, I get it. Do your shit talking, but please put forth the effort to actually try to get up. You're literally just sitting there and talking shit to him, thinking that you're gonna break him, but you're not breaking him. You've been doing it for the first all the way to the freaking 5th round, and nothing has changed. Brunson didn't basically have anything to feel about that whole talking shit aspect. Now, the problem I have with Derek Brunson is the boy looked super tired. I mean, he was very lax in the whole being locked in the body lock position. He did dominate in the position, but he didn't really push off any strikes that were really causing really damaging shots. They were more pity patter shots. And didn't really push the pace. I feel like he could have literally closed out that whole fight. Guess he didn't really want to take the chance with Kevin because Kevin does have some knockout power, as we saw in the second round, where he was able to clip Derek Brunson and drop Derek Brunson for a little bit of a moment, but wasn't able to capitalize on it, which also gives me another key point to talk about Kevin Holland. Dude, those times on the floor, there were times when Brunson was just literally laying on Kevin Holland, and I feel like Kevin Holland could have got up and actually pushed the pace and been able to get Brunson out of there. I think Brunson's cardio wasn't completely there, and that Holland had the cardio and had the effort. If he could just keep it on the feet, but he kept getting closed off by Brunson. Brunson kept using his footwork to close off the cage to make it so that Holland wasn't able to move and wasn't able to actually fire off any more shots. And basically keeping him on the outside of the black line so he can never get center control. Now, where do we go from here? I don't know. With Derek Brunson, it seems like he's going to be getting probably somebody in the top 6 now. We'll see how that goes for him. Usually when he ekes up into that top echelon of the middleweight division, he's never able to cross that threshold. Now with Kevin Holland, only thing I can hope for him is that he bounces back down a couple of spots and he sees what he can do. He's over here talking about that he wants to get a nutritionist and try to go down to 170. Don't seem like it's going to be that much of a difference for him because those guys are pretty much good cardio monsters and they have a lot of power and they know how to throw it. Now, with Kevin, he does have the length. He does have some power. He does have some boxing skills. I wonder about how the cardio effort's going to be there at 170, but I also wonder, like, is this going to be the breaking point that's going to make him take it a little bit more seriously? After listening to Kevin on Joe Rogan's show and after seeing him how he fought in this main event fight, I just don't know. There has to be something where it has to push him to want to buckle down and see what it is to be an actual champion. The course that he's taking is where he's basically just casually thinking like, oh, well, fighting's just a hobby for him. I mean, it's either buckle down, chase after the championship, make your money, and then get the hell out, or you're pretty much just a body that they're going to use to try to build off of you, because he does have the hype name now. He does have a name. He does have a good following. So we'll see how it goes for him. Hopefully 170 does work out for him. And I mean, Chimaev, if he wants to put on a pace and put on a actual fight and see what's up, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Leon needs a fight too. Wouldn't mind seeing that. Bilal. I mean, there's a couple of names out there that would match up really well with Kevin Holland, but we'll see how it goes. Other than that, guys, the only other thing I got for you guys this week is going to have to be that breakdown of the card that we have been freaking waiting for. It is a phenomenal card. Of course, I'm talking about UFC 260. And right now, let's get into that breakdown, guys, and talk about what's going to be going on with this fight. All right, guys, now let's get into this breakdown of UFC 260. Nanganu versus Stipe Miocic 2. We're jumping back into this pay-per-view of 260 where the heavyweight title is up for grab, and it's going to be a rematch of Nanganu versus Stipe Miocic, and I can't wait to see how this one goes. But before we jump into that main event fight, fight. We're going to have to talk about a couple other fights. But before I get to that, guys, I have to let you guys know, I understand that they have announced that the Alexander Volkanovski versus Brian Ortega match for the featherweight championship is off of this card. Reason being, COVID protocols about Alexander Volkanovski's team. Don't worry, they're trying to get it lined up for another fight card. Can't wait to see what happens with that. Brian Ortega, shout out to you, bro. Don't worry, you're going to be a champion soon. It's just going to take a little bit of time. You got this. All right, guys. Now, let's jump into these fights. Now, of course, I have to come with you talking about the Mr. Fabulous himself, the Mr. Shocker, and the shit talker, the one that rolls through it all the time, the Sugar Show. Mr. Sean O'Malley is back up on this card against Thomas Almeida. Now, guys, this is going to be a phenomenal fight that you're not going to freaking want to miss. With O'Malley's striking technique and his unbelievable grit, where he is able to push through and just grind out some nice ass fights, and always using his striking to finish off everybody, going up against a top level Muay Thai striker against Thomas Almeida. Now, don't forget, Thomas Almeida was just a knockout king a couple of years ago, where he was on the fast pace getting up to that bantamweight title. Now he's taking on Sugar Show, and we're gonna have to see how these two strikers match up. Where I see this fight playing out is that O'Malley's going to try to show a little bit of his jiu-jitsu this time, and he's going to be pushing the pace and trying to get Almeida to the floor, because he's not going to want to deal with those heavy shots that Almeida likes to throw. And with Almeida, he's going to have to be quick and fast and try to get in and out of there and be pinpoint as quickly as he can. We'll see how this fight goes. With me, I'm going to have to be taking the Sugar Show, of course, on that one. Now, the co-main event did get changed up, and it is now Tyron Woodley versus Vicente Lucay. Now, guys, with this fight, we're coming back to Tyron Woodley trying to climb back up through the welterweight division and trying to get back to his title that he lost to Kamaru Usman. Now, we have Vicente Lucay, who is no joke with his striking and jiu-jitsu pedigree. He is a phenomenal jiu-jitsu player, but has some phenomenal hands with a lot of power, where he's able to be pinpoint with it and put you out with just one shot. We also know that on the other side, we have Woodley, who has phenomenal wrestling and has knockout power in both of his hands. Now, it all depends on what Woodley we get in this whole fight. Is it going to be the old Woodley before he got the championship, or when he was rocking the championship at the beginning of his championship reign, where he was a phenomenal fighter, coming out, pushing the pace, ready to throw them hands, and using his wrestling to get you to the floor to ground and pound you? Now, I don't know where we're going to be going with that one, but that Woodley is going to get a win, because if Woodley does not win this one, I do not see him working with the UFC anymore. I see him getting tossed out, and especially if he doesn't win this one, I don't ever see him getting back to a title shot. He does not play too well with the UFC. He doesn't always sit on their best side, and we all know how that ends up going. Now, with Vicente Lucay, this could catapult his career completely if he's able to put out Woodley with just one clean shot and getting a phenomenal win to get right back up there into the top of the division and start taking on a couple of guys at that. Now, with that one, guys, I'm sorry to say, I'm not going to be going with Woodley. I'm going to have to be going with Vicente Lucay. I just feel like he has a different kind of hunger, and he's chasing it. And like always, I feel like Woodley just has too much going on, where he's not able to concentrate on fighting like he used to. Now, we're moving into the main freaking event, and it's going to be Nanganu versus Stephen Muchas. Now, this fight, guys, there's a lot riding on it. Now, do we get the same Nanganu that just tries to come forward and throw crazy heavy hands, trying to push the pace and trying to throw shots at any angle that he can to try to catch you? Or do we get a calm, calculated, well-diverse kind of fighter from Francis Ngannou that's going to try to push the pace on Stipe and try to land a pinpoint shot to get him out of there? With that, I don't know, guys, because when you look at Stipe has been a reigning champion for a very long time. He has some phenomenal skills, and just when you think about how many times he fought Daniel Cormier and how many different styles he showed Daniel Cormier, I find it kind of hard to bite into the hype of Francis Ngannou and thinking that Francis Ngannou is going to be able to pull off this win. I feel like Stipe has too many different skills. He always comes in shape. He's always ready to bring it, and he can take a hit like none other. I just, and I get it. Francis Ngannou has some freakish power, but I just don't understand how Francis is going to be able to deal with Stipe's footwork, his control, his actual wrestling pedigree, because he's able to pretty much take people down at will. He has no problem with getting Francis Ngannou down. We already know that from the last fight. So I just feel that Stipe is going to be able to pull this off. Now, the way to calculate this and think about it kind of for if you're trying to bet on this fight is we need to see how what kind of weight Stipe comes in, how Stipe is looking, because if he's coming in like the weight that he came in with Daniel Cormier, he's going to move a lot better. He's going to be way quicker with his hands, and he's going to be able to shoot in on those takedowns really quickly. So I'm pretty much telling you guys right off the bat that I'm going with Stipe Muchas for this. Now, the other thing after this, I mean, if Stipe comes out unscathed and he retains the belt, wouldn't mind seeing him against Jon Jones. Think it would be actually a really good matchup. Now, the other thing is if Stipe comes out getting hit pretty much and is still able to eke out a win, I would hope after this fight, if he gets pretty much injured or anything like that, he would probably retire and walk away. I feel like he's done enough in the heavyweight division. I get it. He could sit there and reign a little bit longer if he's able to get past Jon Jones, but we'll have to see where it goes from there. Now with Francis Ngannou, if he ends up winning, I can't wait to see the matchup between him and Jon Jones. I think that would be a really good matchup, but once again, I don't think Francis Ngannou would have the pedigree to actually beat Jon Jones because of just Jon Jones' takedown ability, his striking, and I'm thinking when Jon Jones moves up to heavyweight, he's going to have a little bit more power and be able to knock people out a lot easier. So we'll see how that one goes when that one comes about. Now, with that, guys, that's pretty much all I got for these fights this week. I know it's a short one. It's going to be kind of short throughout the rest of the weeks. I'm dealing with a lot going on right now. Doing photography and weddings and all that stuff is starting to build up and catch up. I'm getting booked up a lot more, so it's getting a little bit hard to do the videos, but I'm not going to stop. I'm going to push the pace and still keep it grinding and keep it pushing for you guys. With that, guys, let's jump into a couple of things that are going on in MMA right now with my fight news, like always. And, of course, we got to talk about that Khabib is finally retiring, by Dana White's words. But he's been retired since November. But it's finally fun to see that Khabib is finally walking away. But he's also telling everybody he's not going to be too far away. He has a lot going on with a lot of fighters that are going to be fighting coming up. We got Islam. We got his brother, his other brother that's over in Bellator. So we will be seeing him. He's going to be stepping in the role of his father, basically becoming that head coach. Now, do we think that we're never going to see Khabib fight again? No, because I see a lot with him giving up the belt that gives him the opportunity to actually fight George St. Pierre at 170. I know it's a dream matchup. Would I want to see that matchup? Not really. It's an older George St. Pierre. I think that Khabib would actually be able to basically eke out the win against George St. Pierre, but we'll talk about that if it comes to fruition. Now, the other thing is, if Islam Makhachev ends up becoming champion and somebody dethrones Islam Makhachev, or if somebody really beats Islam Makhachev before he's able to get the championship, then I could see Khabib coming out to try to see if that person can pose a challenge to him. Not sure, but with all that being said, the other big news that we got just because of Khabib finally being able to retire is we got a lightweight title coming up, and of course, it's going to be Michael Chandler versus Charles Oliveira. Now, I know a lot of people are like, what the hell? What's going on? How is it that it's Michael Chandler? And how is it not Dustin Poirier? Dustin Poirier's got his mind on his money right now, and he's chasing after the trilogy fight with Conor McGregor, which I feel would be a better way for him because that's going to benefit him in the longevity of his fight career. Now, nothing to worry about that. The title will be there. I'm pretty sure after that fight, Dustin Poirier will probably end up fighting for the title as long as he's able to beat Conor McGregor again, We'll have to see when that fight comes up and when they start booking it and I start breaking down that one. But for Justin Gaethje, it kind of sucks, but I see why they didn't choose to go with him for the title shot or anything. Is he's just coming off a loss. I think he matches up well for whoever basically loses this fight for the title shot. We'll see how it goes from there. And I'll be breaking down that fight as we get closer to it. A lot of similarities and a lot of similarities to go about with this, with the kind of fight style matchups. And there's a lot of stuff to talk about Michael Chandler, about that kind of fight matchup. Now, with that, guys, that's pretty much all I got right now for you guys for this week. Hopefully everything's going great for you guys. And like always, guys, if this is your first time here, guys, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And also do me a favor, mash that like button so we can beat the YouTube algorithm, so the Filthy Report can get out there and everybody can start talking about Fight Talk. Also, do me a favor, click the bell. Click the bell. Check out my other show. Check out Let's Get Geek, where I talk about anime, manga, comic books, TV shows, whatever you think is geek, I'm talking about it and I'll be spitting about it. So please check me out there. And like always, guys, if nobody loves you, always remember, I love you. I am Jason Filthy Jones, bringing you the dirtiest information with the cleanest style. Peace.